All right. We got a small class today. Go ahead and grab a place cot. Let's bring it in here in the circle. Boom, 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 boom. Has our food drive gotten any better?
Yes.
Yeah?
Maybe not here. That's a complicated question.
I know it's been a few months since I've seen everybody. I walked into level 3 and I'm like, I don't recognize half of you. Holy crap. So. She's like, but Dad, there's a cow over there. Right. So what have you guys been working on?
Just the basics, sit and down and stay.
How's it coming along?
He does like everything all at once.
Yeah.
He'll sit, then I'll go down, then I'll shake. Then
He's anticipating.
he doesn't know. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. How is he doing?
She's doing pretty well, except for the getting her to stay.
Okay.
That's
Impulse control.
oh yeah.
All right.
Very important.
How's Mr. Buddy doing?
Thing with him.
Yeah.
Everything else but stay.
Okay.
Balance.
How?
Distraction management.
Distraction, impulse control. Okay. All right. So, with a dog that's anticipating going through the whole repertoire of what it knows, so part of it is the actual understanding of what's expected, but then it's also a breakdown in that you guys probably go through the whole thing in a row. You've created a routine.
Leads us into that, yeah.
So if I always go sit, down, paw, right, my dog is going to anticipate what's coming next. So you got to break it up, do a down, then do a sit, do whatever else, right? And just make it very random. Or what I like to do is I'll just tell my dog sit, 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 like over a time. So I'll say sit, my dog sits, good, sit, and see if they try to do something else.
Yeah, what if he goes down? Then what do you
Then I correct them, put them back into a sit, right? Because sit means sit. So,
give him a treat? Don't give him.
so I always reward my dog if they do what's supposed to happen.
But not if he goes down.
Why not?
Same.
If he sat back up, I'd give him a reward,
Got it.
right? Even if I give my dog a correction and he goes into a sit, he sat, right? And then if we get in the timing window of 1.2 seconds of cause and effect, by the time he sits after the correction, is he going to correlate the correction with the sit?
I guess if it's quick,
Probably not,
right?
right? So your dog's understanding of cause and effect is 1.2 seconds, right? So their timing window is super, super short. So if I say sit and my dog lays down and I give a leash pop and then I have to help my dog back into that sit, I'm probably outside of that 1.2 second. So he's not going to correlate that correction with the potential of the sit, but he's also not going to get confused of why he got a reward for sitting after a correction, right? Now, as the dog gets better at it, then we can use what we call a variable reward schedule. And we basically use anticipation of a potential reward to build drive in my dog to want to accomplish. So let's say we do sit, right? I can say sit, and my dog sits. I go, good, give him a reward. And I break him loose, whatever, sit, my dog sits, and I reward him. And then we break him loose, and I say sit, and my dog sits, and I go, good. But then I don't reward him. What's my dog gonna do? He's gonna start to get excited because he's like, oh, what happened? There was a reward last time, and then I break him loose, right? And then I reward him there. And he's like, oh, something's changing. And the next time I ask him to sit, and he's gonna do it faster to try to get the reward. And then that's when I start giving higher value rewards because he's doing it quicker, better than he has been when we were teaching. Does that make sense?
What's a higher value?
Maybe it's a hot dog, maybe it's a ball, maybe it's a release out of the command and going and chasing a ball, or maybe I roughhouse with him or whatever. So it depends on your dog's own personal idea of what the higher value. So every dog has what I personally call like a reward pyramid, reward hierarchy, right? So like most dogs, the bottom of the barrel is love and affection and petting, right? They like it, but they like food better. And like for my dog personally, like I can do love and affection, I can give treats. The next would be a ball, the next would be a tug, and then my dog's a bite dog, so that person in the bite suit's like the epitome top of the reward food chain, right? So we gotta figure out what drives your dog and what's important to your dog. Some dogs give two shits about treats, right? Like him when he first got here. I mean, we tried everything, cheese, hot dogs, and everything, right? So we have to find what leverage we can use for our dog to want to do something. Some dogs thrive on love and affection. Some dogs, it's the reverse, right? The very bottom of the barrel might be food. It might be a ball. They might like it, but it's not like their thing. But roughhousing with their person might be the top of the pyramid for them. So you just got to figure out how we leverage those things to get them to want to interact with us, right? Does that make sense? So impulse control just comes down to we have to have more negative to balance out his lack of control, right? So if I want my dog to stay on that place cot, you have two approaches. I can sit there and I can constantly feed. How long is that gonna last before the dog gets full or you run out of treats? Not very long, right? So then now what are we stuck with? We have to incorporate some kind of a negative, right? Whether that's leash pressure, whether that's a leash correction, whether that's an e-collar, whether that's a prong collar, something. Because if we don't, his impulse to go do something other than sit there is always gonna outweigh everything else, right? That doesn't mean shut your dog down. It doesn't mean that my correction is, I'm not yanking my dog out of his skin, right? But if we think of motivators, right? If my dog sees a squirrel, the motivation to get that squirrel comes here, right? But my dog's baseline is here. So my negative to counteract my dog's want to get that squirrel has to be equal to or more to drive my dog's desire to go get that squirrel. Now, I can't leave my negative motivator here because what ends up happening? I shut my dog down, right? So because the dog's initial drive for that squirrel comes down, my negative motivator has to come back down to my baseline. And they'll see a rabbit comes out this time, right? My dog's motivation to chase that rabbit goes up here. My negative needs to match or go above to stop that dog's drive for wanting to do that. Once that starts to diminish, I can decrease my negative motivation again. Does that make sense?
So I have a question regarding that, and maybe you said it while I was
Fucking around with your dog?
but give an example of a negative motivation that you would use in the squirrel scenario or something like that.
Is she ball motivated? Food motivated?
Now, but yeah, she's ball motivated.
Good. Good.
So the negative is the reaching the end of the leash and not chasing.
Who got the correction?
She did.
Who gave the correction?
You did.
No, I didn't.
Really?
Did I move?
Oh, no, the leash did.
She corrected herself,
Nice, okay.
right? So, so watch very closely, right? One time. Freak. Yeah, get him all. Does that make sense?
So in that scenario, you just didn't do anything.
I didn't do anything, the first one or the second one. But what did the dog do? The first one, she tried to go after the ball, corrected herself. I never changed anything about me. Second scenario, I was over here, threw the ball that way. What did the dog do? She got out to the end of the leash and, right? So did learning occur? The dog's self-taught. So here's where a lot of people fail their dogs. One, we talk too damn much. Seriously, right? Do they understand human language? Sometimes you think they do, right? But do they truly understand human language? Most dogs' communication comes from body language. Over 90% of their communication comes through body language. So if you're constantly talking to your dog, one, we're muddying the water of understanding of what the dog is trying to comprehend, right? That's why when you talk to somebody that's a dog trainer or they have a really good dog, they use like one-word syllables, super easy communication between them and the dog because it makes it easier for the dog to understand. If I'm saying, good boy, oh man, you did great at that time. Oh, dude, come on, let's go play, right? And we're saying all these different words, but I just want my dog to sit. All that crap before sit, he doesn't understand, right? So now we just muddy the water. Now my dog's trying to listen for something, but he doesn't know what the hell is coming out of my mouth, right? You'll get more out of your dog by not saying a word and using your leash pressure, right? So, but what she learned was my want for that ball doesn't trump me just hanging out right here, right? And that was one time. Now imagine if he did that 10 more times with 10 different balls or 10 different items. How quickly is she just going to go? Because she's going to start to generalize it in different scenarios, different things, right?
At some point, would you be able to maybe move off of using a leash for that too?
Absolutely. Okay. So your leash is just there at the beginning as a restraint, right? Because right now, if I was to do it, she would probably go, right? Because she's only gotten one correction, right? She's only hit the end of that leash one time. After several more times of learning, and it can even be as simple as she may never have to hit the end of that leash again because as soon as she looks back at you the next time when you throw the ball, good. Now we were switching from a negative to a positive, and it was her decision, right? Yeah. How much better do you learn when it was your thought in your head versus something that was forced upon you? Making choices, right? If we're allowed to make choices, we learn better than if we're forced to do something, right? Your dog is very much the same way. If we allow them to make a choice and there's a consequence, whether positive or negative, they're going to learn so much better. And then it's even better if it's their idea versus our idea, right? So every time that you want to teach your dog something, if you can leverage it to where they think it's their idea versus your idea, it's going to get so much more ingrained in their head, right? Does that make sense? Yeah. I mean, that was a great practical application, right? So same thing with him, right? When he's and being dumb, shut your mouth, let him hit the end of that leash, let him self-correct, and it's going to go a lot faster because it was him, not you. And then when you have a super sensitive dog that like takes things super personal, has anybody had one of those dogs? No? Where like you look at them crooked and they're like, oh my God, my world is ending, right? So those types of dogs, these corrections are sometimes devastating. So you have to know the dog and you have to be careful with what you're doing, right? What else? Any other questions?
He's like just an anxious dog.
Mm-hmm.
In general, he's gotten a lot better, but his big thing now is like if someone comes in the door, any stranger, like he doesn't do anything super bad, but I can tell he's just real nervous, real unsure, barks, hair goes up. I'd love to like have him go to his place and stay. So could you go over like how to work on that?
What kind of floors do you have?
Floors, combination of carpet and wood.
So I would use somebody knocking or ringing my doorbell as the cue for my dog to go to place.
Okay.
So to start, you got to figure out where you want place to be, and keep it there, because then it's very clear to the dog the expectation. The next step is introducing those sounds, no different than how we introduce the commands, is using classical conditioning. So first I'm going to teach my dog how to get on the place where it's at, right?
Should it be in the middle of everything?
It
or
doesn't
go off
matter.
to the side?
It doesn't matter as long as you teach it.
Okay.
It could be upstairs. It's going to be a lot harder to do it that way, right? Or back in a bedroom. Usually most people are going to put it somewhere central, living room, something like that, so the dog learns that that's where they need to go. And then once I teach it where it's at, the new place, then I'm going to start incorporating, maybe knocking on the floor, downloading a doorbell sound on my phone, so it's something similar. If you have one of those cool digital ones now that you can run on your phone that everybody has, that I don't because I'm poor, you can practice that, right? But the key here is, one, we have to teach the place in the new place. And I'm not going to use any verbals because I don't want to be associated, my verbals, with that action. Eventually the sounds of the door or the doorbell will be the command for the dog to go. But if I'm teaching it as place at first with a verbal, we could potentially cause conflict.
So you just pretty much walk them over there?
Yep.
Play the sound.
Huh?
And play the sound.
Yep, so it's going to be, so first so like if this is my place cot, maybe my couch is right there, right? And my door's back here. I'm going to throw some treats, let my dog self-discover. He's doing good, cool. Now I'm going to use a little bit of leash pressure, same thing, good. Then I'm going to start building up some distance. And then I'm going to walk all the way back to my door after multiple sessions of building back to where my dog learns to run there. And then I'm going to go do it from the kitchen. And then I'm going to go do it from the living room. Then I'm going to go do it from the hallway, right? So before I ever do anything with the door, he needs to be able to run to that thing from anywhere in my house, right?
So do you do that with a tie back if he won't
No.
allow you?
No, because you have to first teach him to go to it. In the beginning stages, we're teaching, this is what we call a send away. The dog is learning to run away from me and go to that place cot, right? Once he gets to the point where we're building duration, then yeah, I could use a tie back against the couch or a door or something like that. But right now we're teaching him the door means run to place, right? So once he starts getting comfortable running to the place cot from the majority of the house, then I start incorporating the sound. That means go run to place. And I basically start back over. I'll be right here, knock, doorbell, whatever, and the dog goes. Then we start rewarding.
So before you get to the sound part, how do you signal him to go? Do you say play?
Anticipation. Because you're going to play this game so much that as he gets set up, he's just going to go. Because we're going to build muscle memory.
The traits, basically.
Yep. And you can tag team it. So like if you had somebody like your husband or whatever, maybe he's sitting against the couch, dog comes in, he drops the treat, you guys walk away, let the dog go, comes back. And you can also start incorporating a sound right here too. And then we start building off of that too. Just depends on the individual dog. So, but it's not an easy thing and it takes a ton of repetitions.
Just the issue that I'm having is he won't leave my side at all. I mean, he actually peeks around just to make sure he can see me. I tried setting him on my porch. I did a tie back. It worked for a little bit, but then he just won't. So I don't know where we can help there.
Got to work through. So, what? I don't want you. Bring him over. Not long enough. Valley. Place. Down. No. Down. Let me see your remote. Valley. Down. Down. Good. So, no. Down. No. Down. Down. So once I get him there, I need to start building distance. No. Down. Good. Good. Down. Good. Down. Now he's pouting. So, but did you see the whole build up to all that? Absolutely. Every time he got off, I gave him a correction, put him right back. He got off, correction, put him right back. Got off, correction, put him right back. And his mind is like, shit.
Did you shock him at all?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. Down. So every time he made the choice, there was a negative consequence for him making the choice of getting off this place cot. Right? And there's nothing holding him back. He just can't get to you.
Right.
Which is also a negative punishment for him because he's like, Dad, I just want to be with you. I just want to be with you. He's willing to take the correction to be with you. That is a hell of a mindset, right? That's going to be hell to fight through. That's part of his job is to be with you, right? But we need to build this too. Good. So, I'm a huge fan of leash, 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 until I don't have to use the leash anymore. No. Ugh. So bring him back. Down. Good. And because he's on a flat collar, my corrections have to be a little bit stronger for them to matter to him, right?
Right.
So, good. Down. And I always like to remind the dog, hey, dude, even though I'm walking around, down. Then it's very black and white. If I just walk away, he's like, nope. Down. Ooh. Come on. Down. Don't pout. You did this to yourself. So this is what you can practice at home, kind of like what I was telling you, put the leash in the doorway, hook in the back of your truck, change the environment, change the position. Once he can do this on a place cot, which sets the elevation, which buys you time, flip it over so now it's on the ground, right? So like, well here. No, down. Good boy. Free. So, the whole idea behind a place cot, the elevation of this, hopefully it doesn't break with my fat butt. The whole idea behind this is that the dog has to make a conscious decision to step off, right? So as they're deciding to step off, that buys us time to give the correction and then reward the dog when they stay on, right? It's a lot easier for the dog to be here and just stand up or lay down, right? This has a defined boundary and it's elevated. Once my dog can do it elevated, then I can flip it. It still has a defined boundary, but it's a lot easier for the dog to break the position, right? And then once I can do this, then I get rid of it, and then now my dog is able to hold it here. So it's a really easy way to manage and build in a couple baby steps to get the end goal. So like when I have puppies, and I'm assuming you guys would rather me explain these things, right, than just walk in circles and...
Yes, please.
Yeah? Okay.
Thank you.
Just got to make sure because sometimes people like to walk in circles. It's like their exercise for the week or something. I don't know. I feel like this kind of stuff is a little more beneficial sometimes because you can always walk in circles at your own house. All right, let me see her. Hi. Oh, I'm so excited. Good. So like when I get a puppy, this is how I start training them. I put them on this bench because one, they're usually small and I have a really bad back and elbow and hips. So this saves my back, right? Because if I'm trying to treat that dog how to sit and down, I'm all bent over and all this stuff. Come on. Good. So I'm here. What this does is it allows me to kind of shape my dog's positions. Good. 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 And like a puppy right there, I would have let him fall. Because that creates self-resilience, right? If they fall off, they learn really quickly, okay, there's a boundary on this thing. If I move too far this way, I'm going to fall off. I need to keep myself more centered, right? So then I can start working on focus stuff. I step in front of the dog. Get her to go into this sit. Good. Yep. And every time she looks at me in the face, good. 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 She's picking it up super fast, right? So now I ask for some duration. Set her back up. Good. So she's not figuring out, so I'll give her a little bit of help. Good. all verbal, no verbal, all physical, body language, leash pressure, right? Have you ever seen your dog this calm before?
No.
Because she's problem solving. She's trying to figure it out, right?
They're so smart. You know.
So, and then I can go back to, I can start shaping my sits and my downs again. So I love these painter's benches because they're so practical. And then I get this one specifically because the legs fold up under flat. So same thing like when I showed you that, flipping it over, we're close to the ground. Anything that negative that happened in the dog up here, especially as a puppy, because dogs are so situational, will stay here. When I change the picture, fold the legs and drop the dog closer to the ground, we start over and all the negative, the falling off, the leash pressure, any of that kind of stuff that was associated with those commands or the shaping or anything are gone. We reset again on the ground. And then once she can stop, once she gets everything with it folded and we're on the closer to the ground and she's crushing it there, I get rid of the bitch completely and everything that was negative about teaching those commands are now gone. And it becomes a completely positive thing. Does that make sense? And there's no one out there who's going to show you that. So, good. Did that just mentally drain you? Yeah. Good.
Good girl. Thank you. Good girl.
See, but that guy was fun.
I know. I got lots of treats.
What else? Any other questions? Anything else I can demonstrate? Does anybody want to practice or try the bench? You want to try the bench? So like when you have a puppy, right? You can set them on there. You don't have to let them try to climb up there, right? I don't know if he's ever been on a bench before.
Good boy. Good boy.
Uh-oh. 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 So first I'm using just treats to kind of shape and move him around with the food. And then as he starts following the food better, then I can incorporate a little bit of leash pressure because eventually I need to get to the pressure anyway. Let him fall, let him fall. There you go. Now help him back up. Yep.
Valid. Up.
There you go. Let him figure it out. There you go. Now reward him because he figured it out. He didn't fall. Good. So if you're going to make him stand, just take your hand under his belly and push up. There you go. And if you think about, like, when we were talking about the place buying you time, if you have a higher elevation thing like this, where the dog has fallen off, he's gotten a correction from it, because that's a correction, right? I can start building my distance and duration into something higher, because then it buys me time to get to my dog. The higher it is, the more time I get bought. So if you rely on the food at your face to teach that, what becomes the default?
That he won't do it unless I have food.
So
So how do you get him?
wait him out. Blow on him. Make a sound.
Valor.
And as soon as he makes eye contact, say good, and then reward.
Valor.
There you go. Don't put it out there for him.
Valor. Sit. No.
Oh, he's got a steak. He got it. Got it. Got it. Oh.
Up. Up. Oh, you're gonna make me pick you up, aren't you? Valor. Relax. Relax. No.
So if we start with the food here first, then it's going to be really difficult to get away from having food there. So where is he looking when you don't have the food in your
Looking
face?
at my hand or my hip
Why?
because I'm feeding him.
Well, because that's where the food's coming from. So if you have food in your hand and the dog looks at you in the face and you say good, and you just feed the dog from your hand, the food comes from the hand. But if I go like this and I'm looking at the dog, he makes eye contact, I go good, and I come to my mouth or my face, my nose, and then reward my dog, where's the food coming from? In his mind, right? So reward from where you want the dog to look, right?
So basically, you're saying don't have anything in my hands.
So I always have shit in my hands. I always got food in my hands, right? So that's why I use Bill Jack, because let me see her, because she makes a really good demo dog. So I don't want my dog to just assume that there's treats in one hand, right? So good. So why did I go for the left hand, not the right hand? Good. Good. I didn't give her a command, right? I'm just marking the behaviors I like. Good.
We're just switching it up so she's not the
Yep.
same every time.
Good. Good. And she's giving me longer and longer and longer, focus to my face. So now we built frustration, right? I just ignore it.
No. Sit.
Good. 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 Now your timing has to be on point, right? Because if she barks when you say good, you just mark the barking. I can start shaping this. You've seen the guys that have the dogs that jump off their chest and bounce off and rebound because she's doing that. If I started marking that, I could ask that for later on, right? So I could literally teach her right now to bounce off me and go get a Frisbee or go just do a rebound, right? I don't want to do that because she's a big dog and she's going to knock me over. So for her to stop that, just like John's dog over there, when she went to hit the end of the leash. Good. Good. So this is what we call free shaping. I'm not doing anything except for marking the behaviors I like. She tried stepping on a leash. She can only go so far. Good. 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 So at first she was super barky and like, pay attention to me, fucker, pay attention. Now it's getting to 1, maybe 2, right? And then she's staring like she's not taking her eyes off me. Free. All right.
So how do you get them, just wait them out?
To get him to look at you?
Get him to look at
Yeah. Or lower the distraction levels.
Do you mind trying it with me?
Yeah. Good. Good. So you're just gonna have to wait him out. Yep. And just take time. Lower the distraction level, and that'll help. Yeah, he's just too distracted. Not a big deal. All right. Any questions for me? You guys get
Very helpful.
you guys get some stuff out of this?
That's really good. I have just one general question.
No.
Since he's so anxious, is it all about just repeated exposure to whatever it is?
Yep.
His big thing is the car.
Yep.
So like getting here.
So, like, instead of just throwing him in a cart and leaving, start making the car a place.
Okay.
Start making it a fun thing. Throw his treats in there. Get him in, get him out, get him, get out. Open all the doors. Let him run through. Make an obstacle course out of it. Change his perspective of it, right? And then once he's going in having fun with it, close it up, drive down the driveway, get out, do it again. Close it up, pull back up. Excuse me. Go a lap around the block. Do something in the midway. You just really have to change it up.
Change it up.
Yep.
Okay. Sounds good.
It's the best way to do it.
Okay.
So, awesome. All right, guys. Well, have a good rest of your weekend.
Thank you.
It is, yeah.
Sit. Dollar.
St. Charles.